All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying something new today. We're going to be going over a new book. It is going to be called the Christian Charm Course. Heather and I, you guys remember Heather, Miss Heather from Conservatory of the Ozarks, are going to go over a wonderful little book that she found that dates back to her early days in the Christian fundamentalist movement. And so we're going to go over this book. It's by a woman named Emily Hunter. But I want to ask Heather a little bit. What was it like? Can you tell us a description a little bit of this charm school course and what it was about? What was the whole deal?
Yes. So I think about 8 or 9 when I took this course, and I think I was the youngest person in the class. And I took the class at Bible Baptist Church in Cassville, Missouri, and which is where my family went to church. And so a charm course is kind of an old-fashioned thing. It was old-fashioned when I was a child, by the way, too, not just now. And so it was like a school or a course where you could send your daughter to get finished off so she'd be ready to be like introduced to society. So learning manners and courtesy and like how to dress and how to stand and how to walk and how to eat snails, etc. So that was like the goal for the course. And Miss Laura taught the class, and I loved Miss Laura.
Shout out to Miss Laura.
Yeah, she was great. She really is great. She still is great. But we were in this unfortunate framework of this independent fundamental Baptist church, which it was a part of the BBFI.
What is BBFI?
The Baptist Bible Fellowship International, which the headquarters for the organization was here in Springfield, called Baptist Bible College, and that college still exists, but is much smaller now than it was when I was growing up, and it's moved across town to a smaller building. But anyway, so I was in that church, and Miss Laura was my Sunday school teacher, and she taught the class. And I remember it was a pretty small group, but I remember I think my friend Amy and Holly and then Kayla, I think, were in the class with me, maybe some other people, but I'm pretty sure those three for sure. Amy was quite a bit older, and Holly, I think they were maybe both like high school age, like teenagers already. And Kayla was just a year older than I was. And so Amy and Holly both went to public school. And
Cool kids.
yeah. Holly got to wear clothes like she looked really normal.
Yeah.
Like she would wear like cool clothes.
Yeah.
So she didn't look like if you saw me, you would when I was growing up, you would have been like, oh, she looks like she's homeschooled. You know?
Gave it away.
Yeah. But Holly was not like that. And then Amy, she went to public school, but she was more like into her faith. So she would dress more maybe somewhere between me and Holly. And then Kayla, she went to public school too, and she was a cool girl, but I feel like her parents were maybe a little bit more strict. So she always looked really nice. But anyways, we would do the class in my Sunday school classroom, except for one time when we went outside. This is why I was talking about clothes, because this was like one of the first things I remembered about the class when I was trying to think about this book. We did the class outside one time under a tree outside the church, and there was a test. This will be coming up later. It's not in this first session, but we kneeled on the ground to check the length of our skirts, which probably a lot of you've heard of.
Yeah, a common practice.
Yeah. And I just remember Holly went right before me, and her skirt did not even come close. Especially in the
Wow.
Yeah, she was wearing a mini skirt.
Damn.
And I remember I was like, oh, Holly, you whore.
Of course, yeah.
You harlot. My skirt will be like puddled on the ground.
Yeah, just flowing.
Just watch. Like I was so ready. I was so smug. And yeah, I remember I like kneeled on the ground and I was like, Like my skirt was great. And so that I just remember when we found out about this course and I got my book for the course, I was so fucking excited. I was thrilled to be doing this course. I was thrilled to have Miss Laura as my teacher, and I could not have been more excited. And by the way, I had so much fun in this class.
okay.
I loved this class. I was
Okay,
all in.
I'm glad you said that because I have some, as always, when it comes to this type of content or this type of instruction from horrible people. There's conflicting thoughts I have here. It's like, well, I try to find the bright spots in this. I try because there's a lot to criticize. I interviewed a former classmate of mine at the high school I went to, and I asked her what good things she learned throughout these experiences, or what good experiences she had in our Christian school, our independent fundamental Baptist school. And she says, nothing. If you ask me, nothing good came out of it. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then I was there with another friend of mine who I was interviewing two of them. He goes, well, what about me? You were in class with me. She goes, okay. And there's always something good. There's always something good. And I like to watch movies, and a lot of times the movies are kind of like, the example I give is 12 Years a Slave. I don't know if you guys have ever seen 12 Years a Slave. This movie was nominated for like 40 Oscars or something, and I didn't think it was as good as everyone else did. But one thing I said that 12 Years a Slave, Heather always gets annoyed when I say it, but 12 Years a Slave suffers from the fact that it's too dour of a film. I always say there's not enough yucks, not enough laughs. And I say it because it's kind of funny to say that about a movie like 12 Years a Slave, but no matter what situation you're in, no matter how bad it is, human beings will find a way to crack a smile or make a laugh, make a joke or something. And there's nothing like that. And the whole movie's like, oh, it's just, you need some sort of release from how bad things are. So, all right, wanted to go over this book here. Very excited to do so. Wanted to look a little on the author of this book. Now, the author is a woman named Emily Hunt. And honestly, not a whole lot about her on the internet.
Yeah.
Shocking. Yeah.
I'm going to look more before the next episode because, you got the picture. Good.
Yeah. So I brought this image, and this is from the Harvest House website, which is the publisher for these books. Emily Hunter has given a lifetime of ministry to youth. Along with a new Christian charm course, she's written Man in Demand with her husband Wayne, the Bible Time Nursery Rhyme book, and the Keepsake Bible Story Coloring book. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much all I can find on this lady, is this little blurb right here. And what Heather and I found interesting is that the actual author of these books are Wayne and Emily Hunter, but as you saw in the image, it's only marketed as Emily Hunter because this is a girl study. And so, of course, we want to put forward that the woman wrote this. But they mentioned in here a second book called Man in Demand, and she wrote with her husband. And that's this book right here, Man in Demand, the blue one, of course. I just realized that. I can't believe I didn't catch that Man in Demand is a blue book, and the Christian Charm Course is a pink book. That's really funny. I didn't catch that. But this book, I got to order this book. I want to order this after we're done. I want to see what this is all about. But so I guess there's not much to say about Emily because I imagine you don't know much about her either. I don't think they talked about her in the class at all, right?
Just the tone she uses when she writes. That's all. That's the content she included in her course.
I wanted to cover this real quick before we dove into the book. Is that the Man in Demand book? Well, actually, you know what? Let's look at. Let me go back on this here before I share that one out. Do we have the? Charm Course. All right, the forward, or a word to the pupil from Emily Hunter. It says, "Dear pupil, this is." Oh, did I share the thing here? No, I didn't. Dear pupil, this is your personal notebook on Christian charm. It will contain your personal measurements, your before and after pictures, fashion notes to flatter your particular figure, as well as many other practical reminders of the habits of this charm. You know what? I have it right in front of you. What am I doing? What am I trying to read? It's hard to read on the screen here. Can I get the here? Yeah, just be easier for me. All right. Dear pupil, this is your personal notebook on Christian charm. It will contain your personal measurements, your before and after pictures, fashion notes to flatter your particular figure, as well as many other practical reminders of the habits of charm you will be forming during this course. May it also serve as a light to your feet as you seek the path of true beauty, the inner beauty of love and holiness. For Christian charm encompasses not only the body, but also the spirit and soul. It is my prayer that this Christian charm course may serve as a guidepost pointing you to the one who can make your life truly joyful and beautiful forever, the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, Heather and I are going to go over what was written here and our thoughts on this. But before doing so, I wanted to contrast that with what the men's book says. I wanted to contrast that with the instruction they have for the men's book. Now, the men's book, this total training program for boys that is practical, inspirational, and life-changing offers step-by-step instruction for junior high and senior high boys to help prepare them to meet the challenge of dynamic Christian leadership in today's world. These study courses utilize the teaching bridge approach. Heather is going to go over that pretty soon, which leads the students from practical instruction regarding their everyday interests to correlated spiritual instruction geared to meet the particular spiritual needs of their age group in areas such as personal identity, conversational skills, sexuality, social skills, dating, and thought life.
Sexuality and dating are capitalized for some reason.
Oh, I forgot to share this with the folks out there.
Oh yeah, they need to see.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad. It only has a 3.6 rating.
Well,
Good try, Emily.
yeah, sexuality is capitalized and dating is capitalized. That's what the boy wants. So we got to draw attention to that. It is odd. The rest of them aren't. And thought life, ideally suited for use in Christian day schools, youth clubs, family night activities, church schools, vacation Bible schools, and summer Bible camps. The Man in Demand Teacher's Book is designed to enhance and maximize the information presented in the student's manual. It is useful in teaching both large and small groups. And what jumped out to me, Heather, first off, the same thing that jumped out to you is that sexuality is mentioned. I was shocked. That's not generally something, and this book was written in 1975. And then kind of said, oh yeah, this is to talk about your sexuality. I was kind of surprised to see that. And the women's book, or the girls' book that we're going to go over, it's pretty much all about how you present yourself and how you look. Some more stuff too, but look at what's covered with the guys, like the sexuality, conversation skills, identity, leadership. It's all about action and doing something. But yeah, but with the girls' book, it's like, hey, make sure you look pretty. There's a pretty big focus on that. What do you think from here in men's forward?
Wow. Yes, like I haven't reread the whole textbook yet, so maybe this is not true, but I don't remember any information about sexuality being included in the girl book.
Yeah.
Like at all. But I do notice in the first lesson, there were like 3 different ways to smile, and you need to figure out which way of smiling makes your face look its best. So I guess the boys don't get to learn about how to smile.
No, men are not allowed to smile. Men are not allowed to smile. Men are not allowed to laugh. Men have to learn to work and to lead and, preach, I guess. Smiling is not required in any of that shit. But
so you can pay for the girls' high maintenance.
There you go. There you go.
Later. Yes.
There you go. All right. So what page do we have next here? Forward. That's right. Or the letters to the pupil. I wanted to also go over. We're going to switch to the teacher's book right now. This part where I said it's like I wanted to piggyback to the teacher's side of it. Now we have the student's copy and the teacher's copy. So I'm going to show what Emily told the teachers and what to go with here. All right. It says a personal word to the director. I think it was funny they called the director. That they called the teachers, not teacher, they called it the director. I don't know, I found that kind of funny.
Seems awfully masculine.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You ask me.
Yeah. Congratulations, you are about to begin a satisfying and challenging adventure with teenage girls. That's a funny sentence to say out loud. I just think it's really funny to say this out loud. I know this to be true, for I have taken this path before you. Why a charm course? A fresh approach is necessary to attract your sophisticated, intensely busy adolescent girls and bring them under the influence. Hold on, I'm going to share this here. And bring them under the influence of Christian teaching during this intense, sensitive period of their lives. Our Lord was often able to proclaim spiritual truths to the people by first talking to them about their everyday concerns. What are the everyday concerns of teenage girls? Heather, what could those possibly be, the everyday concerns of teenage girls? Well, Emily lets us know their clothing, their face, their hair, their grooming, their figures. In short, their outward appearance. The challenge is obvious. Why not make use of a teenage girl's typical preoccupation with her outward appearance as a teaching bridge or channel through which Christ may speak to her heart and influence her inner life? May the Lord richly bless you and your class, not only as you teach girls how to improve their appearance by bringing out their natural loveliness in keeping with Christian moderation and modesty, but also as you lead them to the crowning realization that only Christ dwelling in their hearts as Savior and Lord can produce the true beauty and lasting loveliness that comes from within. Now, Heather wrote, as you can see, a lot of notes on this here. And so I wanted to get into exactly what she meant. I'll throw out my couple real quick because I have a fewer. But I couldn't help but write down the importance of attractiveness. This is a recurring theme in this book. It's like, you got to be pretty. And being pretty isn't just a social bonus for you. That's obvious. It's also how you prove how godly you are by being pretty. That's very, yeah. And I wrote down that the difference, sometimes I like I mentioned earlier, a lot of terrible people will stumble onto having good advice. I would joke about this. I don't joke, actually. I talk about with Red Pill, in that Red Pill, like 40% of it is actually decent advice you should listen to because it's all about self-improvement, but it just goes off course into how it's implemented and how and what it's based on. And this course, to me, it would seem like it's a decent, like, modeling book in a lot of ways. It's like, hey, this is how you take a picture. This is how you sit. This is how you stand. These are outfits that flatter you. That makes sense. It's strange for a Sunday school. I'm not saying it's strange for a Sunday school. And what I wrote down is that this book kind of misses the mark in that it puts the focus on the value, that your value is your appearance rather than you have value in your appearance. And I think that is like where it goes wrong. Yeah, because there is value in your appearance and how you, like, what you dress like or what you wear and how you present yourself. That means a lot. People are going to immediately assign you and think your clothes do send a message. And that's true. There's nothing wrong with letting people know that. Telling them that their value is important or their appearance is important and that is the main thing about you is where I think there's a disconnect here. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree, but I thought that was a really good way of wording it. I was trying to think of a way of articulating that same thought, like what's wrong, because a lot of this advice is good.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, what's wrong with this? Why does it rub me the wrong way so much? And I said something kind of similar to what you said, but not as cleverly worded. That it is too bad that all of the value is placed on your appearance, not just acknowledging that your appearance does hold value, will be a detriment or an advantage to you. And that is the unfortunate truth. So my notes from the textbook, I thought it was interesting because this reminded me a lot of when we were reviewing The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel, how he would tell a story and then after, which was interesting, it would like pull you in. And then after that, the next paragraph would be the point about like his faith that he wanted you to believe. And it's like the story primed your emotions and set you up to believe the point he was making about his faith. So to me, that's like what the teaching bridge concept does. And I honestly think that's a great way to teach. This was far and away like my favorite course I ever took at church growing up. It was so fun and interesting. I mean, getting to talk about like how to pose for pictures and how to do your makeup. Like when you're a 9-year-old girl, I was so excited to be doing that. And I was wholeheartedly a believer in all of the stuff about faith anyway. And I already heard all of that stuff, you know, like all the spiritual points. Like none of that was new to me. But the other information was. But so to me, I thought the first paragraph of the Dear Pupil letter was kind of the bait. This will teach you how to flatter your figure and how to be charming, and you'll get to take your measurements and have before and after pictures. That's like the bait. And then the second paragraph is kind of the switch, or the thing that the teaching bridge is leading up to. May it also serve
Yes.
as a way to develop your inner beauty and holiness. And snooze, like we already know about
There's
that. So then in the teacher book, this was so fun to read because of course I didn't get to see this.
Yeah, this is about
I don't even know if Miss Laura had this. I don't remember because of course it was an unfortunately long time ago. So I underlined a few sentences. What are the everyday concerns of teenage girls? Teenage.
Yeah, it's hyphenated for some reason. Yeah.
I don't know if that was commonplace at the time in the 60s when this was written, but and then the next sentence, their clothing, their faces, their hair, their grooming, and their figure. And I just put down like all teen girls want the same things and are preoccupied with the same things apparently. Which seems like an unfortunate thing for her to think and to put on paper, but at the same time,
it's not a lie. It's not a lie. Yeah. It's just weird. It's like, hey, what are teenage girls preoccupied with? How they look, how they appear, their size, their attractiveness. Let's exploit that. Let's do what we can to tap into that and form them into the way that we want. That's like, it seems oddly predatory. It's like, I read, there was someone online, Danny something, Aria Daniels, I can't remember, but it's the only review that I could find from this book. Like, that's not true. There's tons of reviews, but it was a site that she has like several reviews on these chapters and stuff. And she wrote down that it's very weird. We're gonna get to it pretty soon, where it talks about them teaching you how to pose for a picture. And it's like, yeah, this seems quaint and cool and everything, but imagine if you went to church and it's like, here's how you pose for an Instagram photo. It's odd. Like, it's actually kind of strange when you think about this appearing in a church. Just because something is important doesn't mean that, it belongs in a house of worship.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But I agree about the predatory tone.
Yeah.
And like how you said, it's weird, like how it said, oh, you can go on this adventure with all these teenagers.
Yes, yeah. Reading it as a guy especially sounded really weird.
Yeah. And so you can see why the only place her husband's name is mentioned as an author of this text is in one little sentence, like hidden in the inside pages of the book and nowhere else. Because if this was written by a male, it would sound like a child molester is talking. You are about to begin a satisfying and challenging adventure with teenage girls. I know this to be true, for I have taken this path before you. Like, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Yes.
I think even in the 60s, that would have sounded creepy.
A man did co-write this. So.
Yeah, so who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. It's him. Yeah.
It was him. But you can see why they didn't put his name on
there. Yeah, good
but with
call.
Boys,
definitely put him on there.
They needed to
Wayne
have
and Emily.
name
Yeah.
because a woman.
I can listen to some woman.
Teenage boys.
Well, okay, so
they're past the age.
I want to pause there real quick on this, because this is actually a question I hear a lot, that I don't hear a lot, but I think about it sometimes, that people will, like conservatives, right wingers, Christians especially, they are really against the idea of gay people raising kids, and what they'll say is, well, two women can't teach a boy how to be a man, or two men can't teach a girl how to be a woman. I don't think they're wrong about that. I really do. I don't. I wouldn't have the faintest idea how to tell like a 9-year-old girl what to expect, or what to like, how to behave, or I don't know. I can tell a lot to a 9-year-old boy. I got that all covered. I got that locked down. I think that's true. Now, that doesn't, just because you're raised by gay parents doesn't mean that you won't have male role models. That's where it comes in. That there are going to be, well, hopefully, men in your community, in your school, in your church, or whatever, that can be those father figures for me, because I do think there is something unique about that like
The lived experience.
the lived experience. That's true, and I just think of it from my perspective, and that I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, I could do my best, obviously, but I don't think I would be as good as the average woman in telling a girl how to become a woman. I don't think I could.
That is a big topic. So
Yeah.
I then put I underlined the improve their appearance, and then the Christian moderation and modesty. Like, I underlined those two sentences. And I just thought that's kind of sad that you'll see this theme quite a bit through this first lesson. She seems to feel, or her husband, one of them or both of them, that like all girls need to improve their appearance and to become more attractive. Like every girl who picks this book up. And if she didn't realize it before, she needs to realize it now. Like, if she thought she looked okay before reading this, now she will know.
Yeah.
No, what can you do to make your after picture?
Oh, that's so true.
The most stunning.
That's a great point. No, that's a great point, because this book, there's a section, we'll get to it, where it purposely says, take a picture of yourself now. You're going to see at the end of this course, you actually look like shit. Like, basically, right? That's what it's, there's a whole thing about that. I didn't think about that. That's true.
Yeah. So, and then, okay, that is the personal word. So I think I did both of the introductory letters. I did write down one little question about the publishing house, which is just kind of another thing that was kind of impossible to find online. I thought it was interesting because when we looked up the publishing house, I saw the publishing house was founded in 1974, but this book had been like reprinted 7 times before then. And so I was wondering, I don't know how it was printed originally.
Yeah, not sure. Not sure.
We don't know who Emily is,
unfortunately. Another thing, too, real quick, while Heather was looking up some info, because, the book was written in the 60s, but the publishing house didn't exist till the 70s or something like that, and how would these reprints happen? She also happened to run across this weird court case where it said that...
Supreme Court case.
It was about... the publisher was being sued by a group called the Local Church, and I had never heard anything about this, and so I went and dug it up to find out what happened here. I went to Harp. All right, hold on. I gotta show this to you, because Heather is hearing this for the first time. She's not exactly sure what's going to be happening here, but
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to clip notes this as best as I can. Here we go.
I was trying to read from, because they have posted on their website. They have a timeline for their court case where they were getting sued as a publishing house, and I'm like, why would you put that on your website?
It did seem strange. It did seem strange,
but it didn't say any of the details.
All right, so I'll go over exactly why. So, actually, that's not the one I meant to show here. I meant to pull up the review on this court case here. So basically what happened is that they were being sued for defamation by this group called the Local Church. And where is it here? Oh, here we go. All right, this is in reference to, I don't need this anymore. The primary legal case involving the Local Church and Harvest House Publishers was a $136 million libel lawsuit that concluded in 2007 with a victory for the publisher. So they had it on there, I guess, to prove that they were innocent, I guess, flex or let other people know, hey, feel free to come publish with us because we're not under any legal scrutiny anymore. Now, the dispute was about a group called the Local Church, a movement associated with Watchman Nee and Witness Lee. We'll get into that pretty soon. And its publishing arm, Living Stream Ministry, sued Harvest House publishers and authors John Ankerberg and John Weldon. The lawsuit was triggered by the book The Encyclopedia of Cults and New Religions, which included a chapter on the local church. The plaintiffs argued that the book's definition of cults, which included accusation of criminal, immoral, and antisocial behavior, falsely defamed them. In 2006, the Texas Court of Appeals ruled in favor of Harvest House, saying that, the court held that the term cult is a protected expression of religious opinion in a theological context. The book did not specifically attribute the alleged immoral, illegal, or despicable act to the plaintiffs, and thus did not meet the legal standard for libel. Final outcome, the Texas Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court both declined to review the case, effectively ending the litigation. This went all the way up to the Texas Court of Appeals. And the Texas Supreme Court reviewed it and said, nope, this is fine. This is nothing going on here. And so they went to the Supreme Court as well. The Supreme Court agreed with the decision. And I pulled up the actual review of the case here to get a little more in-depth speech about this. There's a synopsis right here. This is a libel suit brought by a church against the publisher and two authors after the church was included in a book about religious cults. As determined defined in the book, the publisher and authors moved for summary judgment, which the trial court denied. And I want to go a little bit here on the very end when it says, the church's complaint is that by calling it a cult and including a chapter on it in the book, publisher and authors have accused it of every immoral, illegal, and despicable action. However, as stated earlier, under the group libel doctrine, the plaintiff has no cause of action for the defamatory statement. So yeah, it was included in a list of groups that it referred to as cults. And the church didn't like that. And they said, we're going to sue you because in it talked about a list of things that makes it cults. And I wanted to get right here that this is regular stuff. Despite the claim of being a friend of Christianity, the new religious are rejecting or hostile Christianity. You know what people say about cults. This is my favorite one right here. Part 3. Cults, despite a claim to interpret the Bible properly, the Bible is systematically misinterpreted, either through additional revelation that distorts proper biblical interpretation or through alien, mystical, symbolic, subjective methods of interpretation. That's really funny to me that they thought they could take this to court, saying, yeah, they're saying we're misinterpreting the Bible. Unlike everybody else. Everybody else is doing it, I don't know. That was just really funny that they thought they could go through with that. But I never heard of this group, the local church. Because to me, that just sounds like a local church, right? Like I've never heard it referred to.
But I've heard that name before, Watchman Nee. I recognize that name, but I don't know where. Is it in a Chick tract or something?
I don't know, maybe. But I was curious about this group too. I didn't know what this was in reference to, so I looked it up, and here we go. The local churches are a Christian group which was started in China in the 1920s and has spread globally. The basic organizing principle of local churches is that there should be only one Christian church in each city, a principle that was first articulated by Watchman Nee in 1926 exposition on the 7 churches in Asia in Revelation 1:1. The local churches do not take a name, but some outsiders refer to the group as the Little Flock, as they sang from a hymnal called Hymns for the Little Flock. This was a weird rabbit hole to go down. I had never heard of this guy. I don't know. You've heard the name Watchman Nee, but yeah, they have all their religious doctrines laid out here. Once again, none of these are surprising. The Bible is the Word of God. There's one God, except for right here, verse 6. The church is the unique body of Christ. The issue of the work of Christ is composed of all genuine believers in Christ, and according to the New Testament revelation, is manifested in time and space in local churches, each of which includes all the believers in a given city, regardless of where they meet or how they otherwise may identify themselves. I've never heard of this. I have never heard of a doctrine saying that you can only have one church per city, otherwise it's somewhat heretical. But I guess the people...
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right? Maybe that flies in China or some shit. But then you go to the United States, we have 40 churches per town. But yeah, just stumbling across that was kind of wild, but I wanted to bring that up for you further a little bit.
Huh. I want to read that encyclopedia they published.
Yes, about the cults and everything. That's going to get some good stuff. All right. So, we want to move to the next section with the teacher's book, right?
Yes. Okay, you want to go first?
All right. So, this section is entitled How to Use This Material. She has like 10 different ones here, but I wrote down before we start that Section 2, it says, each girl should be provided with a personal copy of the Christian Charm School Manual. This will contain her personal measurements, her before and after pictures. We went over that before. And I was going to ask you, I know the answer now, but was that public information? Like, did you have to turn it in or something like that? But I think from what I read, you just kept it for your own notes and then checked on it later.
The before and after picture.
Yeah, or yeah, you did turn it into the teacher or show the class or anything, right?
Well, you would put the pictures
Mhm.
on the page.
Yeah.
I really wish I could find my copy of the textbook because I'm pretty sure we did do the before pictures. I don't know if we ever got to the end of the book and did the after pictures. I can't remember. But I mean, you take the pictures during the class, so everybody probably sees your picture. But
Well, I meant the measurements more than anything. That
Oh.
part is what it's like. Did you have to share that, or was that just for your notebook alone?
I think you just wrote the measurements in your
Yeah.
notebook.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, you had your book open, so
Okay. Yeah, that's
you might have seen. But
And so the next one, I think you have on number 5 here. So number 5, I'll go ahead and read it. And it says, do not attempt to teach the Christian Charm course without supplying each pupil the necessary correlative material provided in the student's manual. Inasmuch as this course has been specifically designed with this procedure in view, satisfactory results are not possible otherwise, and the pupil's total development in Christian Charm will be hampered. The emphasis in the student's manual has been carefully balanced to maintain the proper perspective in the pupil's mind regarding the important relationship of spiritual beauty to physical attractiveness. Without these stabilizing truths in hand to ponder and review, reiterated as they are by scripture, illustration, and verse, much of the impact of this course upon the girl's heart and spirit will be lost. I see you have some notes on this one. What are your thoughts?
you have to buy the book.
You have to buy the book. Pay up jumps.
Just like an earlier point 4, she reminds you should buy the student diplomas when you buy the books.
Yes.
Because you don't want to do what so many stupid directors have done.
It really does say that. Yeah.
And get to the end of the course, and then you need your diplomas, and you don't have them, bitch, because you didn't plan ahead. And so she's trying to make money. That's fine. So I underlined relationship of spiritual beauty to physical attractiveness. Like, what the hell? There is no relationship, in my opinion, between physical beauty and spiritual beauty. They are two separate things. I think I wrote somewhere else because this is like the premise of the book in a lot of ways. So later on, I think I put, it's like she thinks life is a Disney movie, where you can tell by looking at someone if they're a good guy or a bad guy. Like, you can tell their inner state. Like, oh, Jafar is clearly a bad guy.
Yeah.
I can tell by looking at him. Like, is he maybe even gay? Or something?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like,
Scar has a literal scar on his face.
yeah. And like, oh, clearly Belle is an amazing person because she's really pretty. She's probably super smart. Like, so it's just kind of a weird premise to hold and a weird premise to like write a book around.
Yeah.
And so I put down you and your students are doomed if you don't buy the book. And so, do you want to go to the next one?
Oh, yeah.
7, or do you want me to do?
Oh, go ahead. You can do it.
Yeah. So, I underlined for point 7. If you find that your class period is not long enough, then you can it talks about you can divide up the class in different ways. So, she said one thing you could do is teach the charm technique during one class, and then the spiritual application you could teach in a different class, which is just like, once again, reinforcing these are two things that go hand in hand here. Like, you must be visually charming and you must be spiritually beautiful. And those two things, they can't exist without the other, is how it seems. And she said physical charm techniques, like if you're at a summer camp, may be taught during the regular daytime class sessions, reserving the spiritual applications for the devotional periods in each cabin at night. And again, that means all of the classes that are about spirituality are going to be so boring. You know, we already have had those classes so many times at this point. And then point 10, A charm course attracts many unchurched girls.
Here we go. Here we go.
And I wrote bus kids.
Yes. Yeah.
Amy, she was a bus
Bus
kid.
kid. The short skirt one.
No.
Oh, what? That's what I expect
Yeah.
from a bus kid. Wow.
I know. No, she was really into the church actually. And then the charm class allows the contagion of Christ
Ooh,
in
weird
quotes,
term.
to spread from one to another through the direct operation of the Holy Spirit, which is just another weird wording where it sounds really predatory.
It does, yeah.
And like if this wasn't an elderly lady
Mm-hmm.
writing the book and speaking to you through the book, if it was a man or like a younger guy, you would be like, ooh, what? But I guess
Contagion of Christ is a weird term. Like our religion is a virus. We need to get it
Yeah.
out there. That is kind of bizarre. And I
the book is like a smallpox blanket.
yeah, smallpox blanket. So in the first part where number 10 where it says a charm course attracts many unchurched girls, I wrote down, does it really? I mean,
Maybe in the 60s.
maybe so. Maybe so.
I think finishing school was still a
Was
thing.
still a thing. Okay, all right. Maybe at the time she wrote it, but I was like, yeah, I don't know if that would be a big draw. Yeah, come to watch our participate in our charm course. Sitting down and learn what a salad fork looks like next to a soup spoon and everything. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But yeah. Oh, I wrote a note here, and I don't know what section made me think about this, but I wrote down that I noticed that I realized that there's a difference in the way we tell boys and men to dress and the way we tell, or the way that we perceive women and girls dressing. Because this book goes into detail pretty soon about how you should present yourself and how you dress. And the focus is you should dress well, but not sexy, right?
Yeah.
There's
Feminine,
yeah.
but not sexy.
Yeah, you want to draw attention to your femininity, but you don't want to try look too hard.
Be alluring.
Yeah. But there's a fine line. You don't want to cross it. And I thought there's no distinction for men. Dressing well is dressing sexy when it comes to men. It's the same thing. That you dress well, oh, you're attractive. Let's go.
Well,
Mhm.
remember the dress codes? I think all the dress codes we had for Christian school and camp, boys couldn't wear a sleeveless shirt
Mhm. Right,
because
well,
it would show their muscles.
yeah, that's true. But I'm saying that a woman in like in a ball gown isn't generally, yeah, it can be, but there's non-sexy ball gowns, right?
Yeah.
But a nice suit is sexy.
Yeah.
Like it's automatically sexy. And
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about
That's what
don't
you
look
mean.
slutty in your suit. Don't be wearing it's like you can't. It's a suit, but it's still sexy. And I don't know, I just thought about that while I was reading through it, that there's a double
Yeah.
standard.
I guess it's like sexual appeal for a male and a female.
Yeah, they're just very different. Yeah, men, and that's true. In like men display their sexuality in different ways than women do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like more diversified, I assume, in how it's talked about.
It's like, I don't know if you ever saw the Marilyn Monroe movie where she's on a boat, one where she sings Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. I think that one's called Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Maybe. I can't remember. But she talks about, oh no, it's How to Marry a Millionaire.
Okay.
And she wants to marry a millionaire.
Does she?
Yeah. And she's like, men, well, and women, society at large, nobody thinks it's bad for a man to say, I want to marry a beautiful woman. And she's like, so I don't think there should be anything wrong with the woman thing. She wants to marry a rich man
Mhm.
because, like, they're providing different things for each other. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so, think of that whatever you want.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think in our culture, customary thing is you expect a woman to add to a man's status by being beautiful,
Mhm.
and you expect a man to add to a woman's status by providing financially.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, displaying your ability to do that for the other person is going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
So, a suit makes you look like you're financially successful, and a sexy dress makes you look like you are beautiful
Mhm.
physically, which is more important if that's what you're providing.
Yeah.
So,
You just gotta dial it down.
yeah.
Dial it down. Don't get too
Yeah.
much
with
into it.
this because this is Christian modesty.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. All right, so we'll go to the next one here. This one is here's how. And I would know that I put out here. Oh yeah, the first section says you do not need professional training. Thank God. As Christian Charm Course Director, it's capitalized. It's the official title. It is not necessary that you be professionally trained. With the clear expectations included in the teacher's book, as well as the pupil Christian Charm Manual, you can easily instruct your class in the basic principles of Christian Charm. It's all plainly outlined for you. And it says in the next one, you may invite assistance from outside experts. Where demonstrations are desirable, you may secure assistance either from an outside professional helping your community or from qualified members of your own church. These persons will be delighted to help you. I cannot emphasize this point enough. It has been proven again and again. The outside professional helpers will feel complimented that you have called upon them as experts in their fields. And I was like, who are these outside pros she's talking about? It's not specific. Like, oh, maybe this part about camera. Find a photographer. I mean, that would make sense. But it says, oh yeah, look for outside professionals. But a lot of this isn't professional stuff, right? It's just how you carry yourself.
She says here, the specific people.
Oh, here we go. All right, what do you got?
Former hairstylists, cosmetic saleswomen,
Okay.
physical education teachers, a manicurist, a beautician, or a fashion sales lady.
Oh boy. I don't know what that is. What's a fashion sales lady? Someone sells clothes?
Someone who sells fashion.
Yeah.
I'm assuming clothes, but yeah, those are the people you can invite. The experts, because those are the type of experts you're going to need.
Of course, yeah.
And no other types.
Of course.
To teach these young ladies.
They like you would be more than happy to provide free labor for this church. They would.
Yes. But I thought that was funny. Like all of those fields are great fields to go into. It's just too bad that only stereotypically feminine fields are. Okay, poor kitty. Are the only options and the only professionals who could contribute to helping a girl prepare for pleasing the Lord.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be inviting a doctor or a lawyer. Or, because those are not appropriate fields for women to be working in. Oh, poor kitty.
Wolfie's interrupted the show once again. This is his favorite thing to do. So hi, buddy.
Poor kitty. Yeah.
And then I have 2 more pages here, but is that the end? What do I have?
Well, they've been revised, so.
Well, this is from this book, though.
That from...
Oh, so from lesson 1. Okay, new look. Okay, there's more. All right, so, all right. I don't think I went this far, so this is going to be all you. All right, so it says, welcome to our Christian Charm course. Congratulations to each one of you for realizing the importance of becoming as attractive and charming girl as possible. As Christian girls, this is especially to be desired, for a lovely appearance and gracious demeanor will reflect honor to Jesus Christ. A pleasant, sparkling clean, well-groomed, tastefully dressed young person with a graceful carriage and a trim, disciplined figure can exert far greater influence for the Lord than one who is slouchy, disagreeable, and unkempt. To attract others for Christ, you yourself must be attractive both in spirit and appearance. Once again, the focus on attraction. Attraction isn't just something to make your life better or easier. It is vital for your walk with God. Like God spreading his message depends on how good you look in your dress. So yeah, I saw you some notes on that one. What you got?
Yeah, it's kind of like we were saying before. I feel like this is true in a lot of ways. Like if you are trying to represent your faith to the world, and you look like messy, you smell bad. If you look like what your society perceives as being a failure on the outside, you're not going to be pulling a lot of people in to follow your faith. So that is true, actually, but it feels creepy, like the way that she says it.
Yes.
And I noticed quite a few times, and I tried to underline them, she uses the word pleasing or pleasant to describe how a Christian girl should look. And it reminded me so much, I don't know if anybody else will remember this, of the Kavanaugh trial. When that one, I forget who it was, but he described, was it Christy Blasey Ford? Was that her name?
Yeah.
He described her as a woman with a pleasing appearance. And it was so, I remember when he said it, it was like, ugh. It just seems so creepy to say. And do you remember that?
I don't remember saying that. No.
Oh, yeah. He was saying how, I don't know, kind of was like hard for him to deal with, I think, because here's this woman and she's saying these things he doesn't like, but she has such a pleasing appearance.
Yeah.
And she also wrote in the next paragraph that maybe sometimes you've wished for a fairy godmother who could transform you the way Cinderella was transformed, but that's not going to happen. You have to work hard if you want to make these changes to your appearance on the outside and to your soul on the inside. And that also is true. But I just kind of didn't like that the assumption is that, of course, every girl in this class wants to be more attractive and needs to be more attractive.
Yeah.
That's kind of too bad that that's the paradigm for the book. And then underneath that, the paragraph, make the most of your own characteristics. She says, use your wits and will to improve your complexion, your hair, and your figure, instead of being jealous of other people's face, figure, and hair. And so I put, if you have a condition preventing you from having a trim figure or clear complexion, just become an atheist or a Muslim.
Right, yeah, there you go. God clearly is not selecting you to be in his favor.
Yeah, kind of too bad, because she says, make the most of your features, let them shine for him. This is your blessed privilege and responsibility. So I guess if you can't attain, I love how she wrote here, you can't change your basic physical features, but did you ever stop to realize your attractiveness doesn't totally depend on what you were born with? Don't sit and moan, if only I had Sue's complexion or Barbara's hair or Cindy's figure. Get busy. And so it's just such weird advice. And I'm sure some of this is a product of its time. Like, all of these ideas were, I think, probably much more culturally acceptable in the 60s than now, or in the 90s, even when I was exposed to this. And then the before and after pictures is the next paragraph. And towards the end of the paragraph, she says, how dramatic will your improvement be?
Yeah.
It all depends on you. And again, it's like, what if this is like the most beautiful girl in her whole school and she's already like, I'm not saying this is how you need to be, but this is how this book feels you need to be. What if she's already super skinny and she doesn't have any pimples on her face? I guess you don't need this book.
Then she'll
you must already be totally spiritual. If your face is beautiful. You definitely don't have the spirit of Jezebel if you're not dressed like a whore. So you must be perfect on the inside if you look perfect on the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say. Yeah, definitely hard to say.
That seems to be the implication to me. And I also thought this was funny because they talk about the photographs that you should take, the before and after photographs, and how to go about it. And specifically in step 1, is there a photo hobbyist in your church? He will be delighted to help you.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, photographer is not a feminine position. And then, like, later
I get these pictures.
Later on in this lesson, she talks more about the photographer. I don't remember exactly which page it was on, but I underlined it there too. He.
Weird.
Masculine pronouns.
Weird.
Photographers. So I guess that's not an acceptable.
When I was like 23 years old, I was 22 or 23 because I was 17. I was at home in like Missouri, not in like Missouri, Wisconsin, but Essence told me that she had booked a photographer to take some like a portfolio, like some pictures of her and everything. And she said that it was out of town somewhere, and she was going there at night to this like studio for him. So she wanted me to go with her, and oh yeah, sure, absolutely. So I drove there. I drove us there, and it was the strip mall, but I think everything else was closed. This was the only, yeah, it was the only place that was open. And so it was like that light was on, and so it was dark too. It was like 7:38 or something, and so everyone else was there. So we get there, and the photographer's there. It's just him. It's just yeah, it's just him in this building,
Weird.
all alone.
In an abandoned strip mall.
And so
Pictures of teenage.
yes, and so I said that I was like,
I
what?
don't know if everybody knows that Essence is your sister.
Essence is my sister. Sorry, that's my little sister.
Yeah,
And so,
sister.
yeah, she was 17. I think I was 22 or 23 at the time. And so I get there and I was like, what? This is kind of weird, isn't it? She goes, yeah, it's a little odd. But we were already there. And so we went in, and I sat there, and they started taking the pictures and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, let me know if you need anything. And so they were off in the booth taking the photos and stuff. And I heard the guy, and that's his comment on this later, the whole time he seemed nervous. He seemed, which is odd for a photographer because you're there to make your client feel more at ease. But he seemed like it was his first photo shoot that he's ever done. And he kept telling us, oh, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. I was like, we'll ask Essence about it when we go to California next week. But the time back, I was like, Essence, I am so glad you brought me here because that guy is bad news. I did not feel like, why would you ever do that to your client or like that? But anyway, we talk about male photographers. They're suspect to me because a lot of them do these weird photo shoots. Because, yeah, especially back in those days, like this would have been 20 years ago. And the availability of just getting pictures of yourself wasn't as simple, especially good, nice ones back then.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
in our day in high school and everything, remember the glamour shot? Yeah, you would go to the mall or to Walmart.
Yeah.
There'd be a lady behind a booth, and she'd have like the sign-up sheet, have these pictures of these women like all these touched up and really glamorous photos, and that's how you did it. You couldn't. There's no filter on your Kodak. There was no one showing you what angle to use. There was no one.
Well, this book tells you the
book tells. Yeah, it's so. Well,
book.
but yeah, like getting a good photographer back then was a huge deal, and now it's a lot simpler. That you can do a lot of work yourself. But yeah, I just want to bring that up before we get this. So, oh yeah, so I stopped taking pictures beforehand. But if you want to cover a few of these, you can.
I just went to the end of lesson 1, but
this is a lesson 1, right?
not in the teacher book. The teacher book lesson 1 goes like it has more pages.
Oh yeah, I stopped taking pictures too early. All right.
Here's lesson 2.
Okay. All right. So I have more pages here. So you want to talk about this one? This is talking about
the picture of this one.
I'll see if I have it in the regular book. Maybe.
I wrote down in my, I don't know if it will show up or not. I wrote down, I loved the illustrations in this book so much. And I liked how the clothes and the hair and the faces were portrayed. And I don't know if these are related or not, but I wonder because the content seemed very similar. I was a part of an organization called the Institute in Basic Life Principles, headed by a man named Bill Gothard. Yeah, there. And that's a student book equivalent. And so these illustrations look so similar to the illustrations in Bill Gothard's materials, where he would talk about avoiding eye traps.
Eye traps. You told me about those.
Yeah.
Can you explain what an eye trap is?
An eye trap would be if you have a slit in your dress, like in the front or back, or if your neckline goes too low, or even if your body is entirely covered in the way it should be, if you have like say you had like some kind of sheer accent here, like where your cleavage would be, just any kind ankle bracelets. I was never allowed to wear an ankle bracelet until I left home. And shoes even that would draw attention to your feet, like open-toed shoes. Like there's nothing inherently immodest about
Mhm.
somebody seeing your feet, but it was an eye trap because you only wanted to draw people's attention to your countenance, which is your face.
Mhm.
So a necklace would be like a great technique to use, wearing a necklace to try to draw people's attention up to your
Mhm.
joyful countenance at all times
Mhm.
and not to look down underneath your neck because
Yeah.
everything down there is you know, a little troublesome.
Bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no good reason for anyone to be looking
Yeah.
down underneath your countenance. And so having like an attractive hairstyle and makeup and anything that would draw attention to your face. So that's a different organization than this one. But the pictures and the way she talks, even the formatting and the font she uses, very, very similar to Bill Gothard's materials. And so I don't know if that's just because maybe they were written kind of at a similar time in
Yeah.
history. Maybe a lot of publications from that time are similar in those ways. But I couldn't find, like, there's no information about this woman online. So I don't know if the two were connected, but boy, they are similar. Like the yes, no, it's like just like the pages where it would show eye trap and then non-eye trap.
Mhm.
So you're supposed to put your feet at a 45-degree angle when you stand, not side by side. You're supposed to stand up straight, and you want to have your arms dangling lifelessly at your side.
Yeah.
She's
It actually says that.
Yeah.
Don't have your arms hanging lifelessly at your side. Yeah.
And you want to have good posture. You don't have your knees apart or your ankles apart. When you're sitting, your knees and ankles should be together at all times. And this is where she talked about the 3 different types of smiles
Oh boy.
and how you should be able to like look at the mirror and figure out which type of smile is best for your face, because obviously a sad face is never going to be the
No,
right
no.
choice for your face. A smile is always what you need to have.
Mhm.
And so do you need a laughing smile, a broad smile, or if you try saying the word cheese, that is a like time-honored
Yeah.
method for finding the proper lip formation for a Mona Lisa smile.
Yeah. The
Proper
proper
lip
formation.
Oh, and in step 2, check your body profile. This is in the teacher's edition. She says, a full body view. This is how she shows you should stand with your feet at a 45-degree angle, and you should angle your body in the 3/4 position instead of facing full on in the body profile
Mhm.
section there, the no yes. So a full body view in which you stand squarely facing the camera is not flattering because it exhibits to the camera's eye every inch of body bulk, in quote,
Body bulk.
body
Damn.
bulk, which you may have to offer, even if you're one of those very fortunate, streamlined girls.
Mhm.
You will find a 3/4 pose is usually more interesting. And I wrote, the assumption is skinnier is better.
Yep.
No one needs to ask or state aloud
Right.
what is the preferred figure type,
Yeah.
because everybody already knows.
Mhm.
And this author reminds me of Aunt Lydia from The Handmaid's Tale, which I know you
I
never
see,
read
yeah.
or watched that, but other people may have.
Mhm.
She's always like, all right, my girls need to have a beautiful smile. My girls need to be respectful. My girls need to walk in a straight line. Whatever it is. I
Yeah.
feel like this Emily could have been an Aunt Emily in The Handmaid's Tale civilization. And the legs one where she shows the sitting with your ankles crossed and your knees pressed together while you're sitting down. She says, are your legs sprawled apart ungracefully? When sitting in a chair, do not point your legs towards the camera, although the shoulders and head may be turned towards the camera like this to show a full face view. Draw your leg over to one side, keeping ankles together and knees together. Remember in pictures, whatever projects toward the camera will appear larger and distorted in relation to the rest of your body. That's true.
Yeah.
So, it's just, again, like the premise from which this statement springs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so weird. Instead of just like, hey, if you're like trying to look good in a picture,
Yeah.
this pose tends to look a little better or a
Mhm.
little less awkward. It's like, this is how a good Christian girl would
Yes.
sit. And if you don't, if your knees are apart, then you're not spiritual
I'm
enough.
trying to say,
Because,
yeah.
why would you be sitting that way?
Mhm.
You.
This is how God wants you to sit,
Yeah.
and how God wants you to stand. Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
And she put, at the end put, to illustrate the above techniques, this is a fun activity you can do. This is in the teacher's book. And I was like, this sounds so fun, but also a little weird.
Okay.
I would have loved the activity, but like as an adult reading it, I'm like, what?
Mhm.
She says, for simple eye-catching visual aid to accompany the above instructions, cut figures from fashion magazines or mail order catalogs and paste them onto colored construction paper. Choose full-length pictures showing models in 3/4 body position with feet placed at angles to one another, hands in various poses with legs drawn to the side while in a sitting position, etc. So find pictures in fashion magazines of models posing in the way that she says you need to pose in her instructions. Let the pupils practice these various poses, checking their positions in a full-length mirror, which will be helpful to them. So, and then you had some notes, I think, about this section.
Oh, yeah, I wrote the same thing. I'm like, this sounds like it should be a modeling class. It's odd that you were taught this in Sunday school as a 9-year-old. Seems like a weird place for that to.
Well, it wasn't Sunday school. It was at night. We got to do
Sunday.
instead of going to a night service. I don't remember if it was Wednesday night or Sunday night, but
What I saw here, so there's a section here called A New Look in Heart and Life. It is hoped that before and after pictures will reveal a striking change in your outer appearance, a totally new look. How you look in the eyes of man is important, but more important is how you look in the sight of God. He sees through external frills into the depths of your heart. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but God looketh on the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Someone has said, if anyone should set up a business as a photographer or a photographer of hearts, he would have no customers. No one is anxious to have others see a picture of his heart. But the Bible says that our hearts are always open and naked to the eye of God. Photo studios take great pains to retouch photos, removing blemishes and wrinkles in order to flatter their clients. But God's portrait of the human heart reveals each flaw and imperfection. God wants us to realize that every person, yes, every sparkling young girl, no matter how pretty and polished the outward appearance may be, needs to have an inner transformation, a new look into her heart and life. And the new look paragraph was so weird to me because this whole time, it was only been like a few pages, 10 pages so far, saying your outward appearance is vital. Your outward appearance is important.
It's
This
a
is
reflection
it's a
of your
direct
inner
reflection of
state.
who you are on the inside. And this book's like, just so you know, it's not all about how you look. Like, apparently it is. You cannot have this both ways. I thought that was kind of weird that they kept going on about that. And then it said, how do we get this new look? Does this new look in the heart and life come through diligent self-effort, just as the new look in our outward appearance? God's word says no. You do nothing to deserve it. You do not earn it. You simply receive it. It comes as a gift, and the tag on the inside to your name from your heavenly Father with love. The moment you accept Christ, God's priceless gift, a miracle takes place. You are born again to God's family. You receive a new heart and a new nature. You are a brand new person. There's a new look in your heart and life because there's a new person dwelling within the Holy Spirit. As you surrender your life to the Spirit's control, He transforms you. He transforms you from within, filling you with Christ's own joy and peace. Oh, and you underline this too. And when your heart found peace with God, harsh tension lines relax. A new softness and gentleness appears.
Pull up the picture of her real quick.
I X'd out of it. So yeah, that's so funny. That would have been so great. I wish I had.
I guess it didn't work for
Oh
you.
shit.
Because you still have a lot of wrinkles.
Oh
on your
no, Emily Hunter
Bitch.
catching strays 60 years later. That's right.
face. And she looks beautiful in the picture.
Yeah.
But
But the wrinkles are there. You told me they'd go away. Yeah.
You said if I'm close to the Lord, I won't need Botox anymore.
Yeah. I wrote a second paragraph, release tension lines. Are you kidding me? You're telling me that we're going to get rid of your wrinkles because you accept Christ as our as your savior. That was a wild line to read. That's the only part I wanted there. What'd you have there at the end?
And after that, she put a new softness and gentleness appears, a lovely new radiance and glow. The light of his glory shines through from within. Yes, a new look within and a new look without go hand in hand. To become truly attractive and charming, you must have both. And I put, if you are ugly or old and wrinkled, maybe try Buddhism. Because Christianity
What you got
is
to
not for
lose?
you.
What you got to lose?
But this is another reason why I'm like, was she into Bill Gothard? Because how I said you're supposed to draw people's attention to your countenance, he always would use the word bright.
Hmm.
You want to have a bright countenance, and that's how everyone will know that you're a child of God. And she has like such a strong
Yeah.
theme of saying the same thing. And I put all of these things could be good tips, good advice, like the practical tips.
Yeah.
Like not bad. And if you have the goal to improve yourself and to excel in these areas, that's great. But the assumption that all girls want the same things and all girls should be doing the same things and should have the same goals, same desires. And if you don't, like there must be something wrong with you, and all girls should be striving to look the same way. Here's the beauty standard, and these are the things you need to have: smooth skin, beautiful face, pretty hair, and you need to be dressed in a way to make your figure look its best, and your figure needs to be as thin as possible. And those are all the things you need to do. And every girl needs to be doing the same things. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And you're not living for the Lord or something.
Yeah.
So that is what seems problematic to me, which was it's kind of like what you're saying about the red pill content. Like they have a lot of good advice, honestly. And so I got the same feeling from reading through this book again. It's like, oh, actually, like a lot of the stuff she has to say, not terrible advice, but the reasons why are really troubling.
Yeah, this course does a lot of getting ought from an is. It kind of goes down that course where it's like, yeah, this is true that if you want a photo that most people find appealing, these poses or this type of dress style, or we can get you what you're looking for that. Therefore, you ought to do this in your day-to-day life, whether you like it or not. And it's also a direct reflection of your heart, which it's not. And so, yeah, it's I use the red pill example all the time because there's a lot of young men out there, just like young women out there, who are just kind of lost and confused. And if it's like Jordan Peterson with the clean your room thing, that it works because, yeah, your parents tell you to clean your room, of course they're going to. But this guy, this successful elderly guy who's a college professor, he's smart. He tells me to clean my room. Okay, I should do that. Very simple advice, but it doesn't mean you're a bad person to ignore. Okay. All right. And then, I don't know. So this is actually, I can go back to the student book here because it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. You can go for it. You can start this one, A New Look from Within, because I didn't have any really notes on that one. I saw you.
Yeah. Okay. So, I underlined from the teacher's book. Do you have the face and sad face heart? Yeah. There we go.
Aww.
So, I put for the student book, in the sad face section, the before the new birth, which is underneath the before picture on the page. So again, bait and switch, or the bridge method. You get the before and after picture, which is what everybody's interested in physically, and then this underneath is the spiritual principle, the before and after your new birth as a Christian. And so the sad heart face, it says all these questions and problems you have when you're not a Christian, and all these things you try to do to fill yourself up. And then it says, but sometimes a queer hollow feeling creeps over me, and I feel strangely dissatisfied. And I guess I'm just one of those crazy mixed up kids. And the happy heart face says at the end, at last, I'm a real person.
Oh boy, yeah.
And the teacher's course just kind of like has a little bit more to say about both of those things. So she says for the heart smiley face, the after spiritual snapshot. Of course, I sometimes slip into sin, but immediately I ask the Lord to forgive me, and I feel bright and happy again.
It's like a commercial. Yeah, it's like
And at last, I'm a real person. So my observation about that was if you are genetically predisposed to have low serotonin, or if you have unprocessed trauma resulting in depression, you must be living in sin, I guess.
Mhm.
And you can't be a real person until you are a puppet being controlled from the inside by the Holy Spirit, which is only in the teacher's book. She said, now I see things from God's point of view, not just my own selfish outlook. More than anything else, I want to please the Lord. I thought this would be hard, but I feel a strange new power and strength within me, helping me do right, which is what made me think of like a puppet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it also has that weird predatory language to me, like he's inside you, controlling you.
Yeah.
Which at the time, of course, didn't sound predatory to me. It sounded wonderful, like that's my goal, to be controlled by the Holy Spirit. But now it seems a little odd
Yeah, and
to say to a child.
it is, and I was really serious when I talk about how this just sounds like an ad. This is at the end. Like, I was sad. Now I'm
Not
happy.
anymore.
Now I'm happy that I found Jesus. This is something that, like, what did Don Draper say? Happiness is just something you experience before you want more happiness. That's just, it doesn't really solve anything, but they know people are always looking for that, children included. So yeah, going with the spiritual part is so funny on the next page. Actually, I'm gonna pull up right here. When I was going through Heather's notes on the next page here, after the hearts, it says taking a look at myself spiritually. Heather actually wrote boring page on here. And it's funny because when I turned the page, I think I read it before you did. And so I was like, oh, this is the dull shit. This is let's talk about spirituality. Like, no, I came here to learn how to take a good picture and how to lose weight and like what my ideal dress size should be. I don't want to learn about my spirituality. I'm gonna read 1 John 5:12. No thanks. But yeah, I thought that was funny. You wrote boring page on this.
Yeah. And I underlined underneath at the bottom, it says, does my face reflect the image of Christ beauty within me? Sorry, just at the bottom of that little section right there.
Oh yeah.
And I, again, think that's really troubling. Like, if you're a Christian, which lots of great people are, and you have the beauty of Christ living within you, what if you have an ugly face? Some people
just do. Yeah.
Some people do, and they are beautiful people anyway on the inside. But if your face isn't beautiful and attractive, it's just so weird that she keeps going back and forth saying like, well, it doesn't matter like what you look like. It's just what you have on the inside. Are you living for the Lord on the inside? But at the same time, if your face isn't beautiful, you are not pleasing the Lord, and there's something wrong with you. Why aren't you trying harder? Oh, and I love this picture on the next page.
All right.
I think she looks
looking
so
ahead.
cute with her ponytail. And so this is where you're supposed to put the ways you want to list underneath here. Like, how do you want to change yourself on the outside during this course, and how do you want to change yourself on the inside during this course? And then you put a check mark on. Oh, did somebody fill this?
Yeah, this is the one I have. Someone has something in here.
I probably like put those same things on mine.
It says nails, face, and hair.
Yeah,
is what she wanted.
And she didn't want to change anything on me.
Exactly, the boring part.
Good for you, girl. So you have to like check mark that you're writing a contract with yourself here. I want to be attractive and charming so that I will please others. What a weird fucking sentence.
Yes,
this
I don't have my sticky note right here, but I thought that was wild. Where it says on the top of this one right here. Actually, let's zoom in so you can see it. Right here, when she's through the calendar. I want a new look at my outward appearance. I want to be attractive and charming so that I will please others. That is such a weird, I mean, even for back then, that seems like a strange thing to say. That, I guess pleasing others isn't axiomatically bad, but that's no one, like, when your parents, I heard some lady talk about this, and she said that, teach your daughters to be assertive and teach them to not be walked on, teach them to go after what they want. because I guarantee there's plenty of parents out there talking about their kids, as they love to do. There's no one out there saying, "Oh, I got this great daughter. She's so compliant. She does everything anyone says, and she doesn't ask any questions." Did you see that? Maybe you showed it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was great.
That was a parenting video.
Okay, yeah, and so saying that, making it your goal, like the number one thing in the sentence, "I want to please others," very strange. Even back then, that sounds odd.
Yeah. And then the next paragraph, I want to be lovely and beautiful within so that I will please God. I realize I cannot change my heart merely by self-effort. And so she contrasts that in the teacher book, that if you want to change your outward appearance, like she said, you aren't going to have a fairy godmother come wave the wand for you. You have to put in the work to make it happen. That's true. If that's a goal for you to change your outward appearance, then it is going to take work. But if you want to change your inner state, that does not take any work because that is a gift from God. All you have to do is receive the gift. And so she contrasts those two principles, which is funny to think about that way now, because now, as not being a Christian anymore, I would think I would need to work to improve my inner state. And I would think that was more important than working to change my outer state, actually. But I never thought of it that way till reading the teacher's manual where she said that.
Wolfie. Pipe down.
Hello, kitty. And just like at the end of the teacher's manual for this section, I wrote a few notes down where she kind of like summed up, are there any unsaved girls in your class or those who are not sure of their salvation? Refer to page 6, taking a look at myself spiritually. And then she then talked about like how to look ahead with the girls who are, if you have a class who, and all the girls are mostly Christians already saved. And this reminds me, I'm sorry to keep bringing up Bill Gothard when that's not what we're talking about here, but this course just reminds me so much of content of that organization. And the thing, my parents were in IBLP. They were followers of Bill Gothard since before I was born. So I don't remember a time that I wasn't familiar with his teachings in my whole life. But we were never part of ATI, which is like within the larger organization, the Institute in Basic Life Principles, or IBLP. Underneath that is ATI, the Advanced Training Institute, and that's their homeschool program. We were never a part of ATI. And I didn't really know people who were. I just knew people who homeschooled with like whatever normal curricula we were used to, Bob Jones and Abeka and ACE and stuff like that. And so I got a job where I was working for an ATI family. And they, of course, had lots of friends who were also in ATI. And so I started meeting all of these other ATI families, and they were incredible. They were like perfect human beings. Every one of the daughters had beautiful, long, flowing hair. And it was always like styled very lovelily, very beautifully, whatever. It was always, she puts in here, you need to have your hair styled becomingly. It was always styled very becomingly. And they always were wearing beautiful dresses and skirts. And like the boys were always dressed really sharp. And like the brothers and sisters, you're supposed to be best friends with your siblings in this curriculum, and the brothers and sisters would be like, like it was really sweet. You didn't hear them arguing. And like sometimes you'd even see like the sister would like sit on her brother's lap, or like they'd be like walking holding hands, or with their parents, like teenage kids, like walking holding hands. Yes, it is a little weird because it's not what we're used to seeing. But like I was so impressed because I was like, wow, these people are perfect. They're always talking about God. They love each other. They love everyone. They are so happy. This is what I need. I need to join this, and this will solve all my problems. And so I, told my parents we need to do API. And this book to me reminds me so much of the end result, which is if you focus on, oh, I feel happy again now because I'm the after happy heart smiley face.
Yeah.
And so I always have a bright countenance and I always look happy and perfect and I never argue with anyone because I have the joy of the Lord in my heart emanating out of me. Like that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And so at some point because what you're doing is learning how to suppress your difficult emotions and disassociate from your difficult emotions, like instead of processing and living through the difficult emotions you're going to encounter as you're living your life. At some point, those emotions are going to come out. They're going to manifest in some way, like an eating disorder or blowing up and bullying someone who is in like a more vulnerable position than you are in. Because you have to express those emotions at some point. And that's what I saw when I was in ATI. Like, if you got to know these families who looked so perfect, once you got to know them, it was just like the Duggars.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Actually, you're a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Once once you went to the conferences and, like, you were alone in the dorm rooms in the training centers with people, like, they would start telling you stories. All their families were just as fucked up as yours. They all were arguing. They all hated each other, you know? And I feel like that's what this book is training you to do.
Yeah.
It's training you to pretend that you always are happy and perfect and smiling so you can attract new people to your virus of Christ.
Yeah.
And you will on the inside be screaming and trying to ignore the screams because you don't know what to do because you're not allowed to feel those things. So that was kind of my conclusion at the end of this lesson.
The Contagion for Christ would be a great book series. The Contagion for Christ. All right, so at the end, there's some questions and answers, or a review section, I think they have for the girls here. Want to go over this? I don't think I had any notes on this one. I think because you filled out.
Question number 1. What are 2 basic reasons why a Christian girl should strive to look lovely? Which I just thought was a weird question. What are 2 reasons you should be as hot as possible if you're a Christian girl?
Yeah.
Go to Altered State and find out.
Yeah.
That's where all the sluttiest Christian girls go to buy their clothes. And then number 3, do you want to appear pleasing to the eyes of men? And I thought this was kind of a clever.
I thought so too.
From the author, actually. I like Emily. She got some good ideas, you know? Bit of a fascist weirdo.
Yeah.
But, like, I have to tell you, like I've said before, glowing reviews for this book. It was so fun compared to sitting and listening to, like, the prayer meeting sermon for Wednesday night. God, this was incredible. So in Hebrews 4:13, we learn that our lives are blank and blank to the eyes of God. Are you concerned with how you appear in the sight of God? And the words are naked and open. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, pretty clever to use that verse. And would you like, question number 4, would you like for others to see a photograph of your soul? Would you prefer some retouching be done before it be placed on display? And I'm like, honestly, that's a really good question. Like to ask, and like as a secular humanist, to ask myself, like, if someone could take a picture of my soul, would he like what he saw since he is obviously a man? Anyway, that's not But would I be embarrassed? Like, what things about my ethics and the way I live my life that other people don't know about? Like, what about those things would I be ashamed about? And would I want to be retouched? Like, that's a good question to ask. Like, no matter who you are. So we can end on a positive note if you want. From
I like that. Yeah,
she had some good things to say along with the.
All right,
trash.
So landed this plane right around 90 minutes. Not trash, not so bad. We got several more chapters to go, and they get really, really good. I perused this a little bit when Heather found this moving, and it's like, oh my God, this book, and we had to go over it. So this
book, by the way, both of these, I bought as an adult because I remembered this
Oh
course.
wow.
And I loved it so much, and I wanted to have them like to see because they're hard to find now. They're so old,
Mhm.
and I was like, I have to have this in my personal.
I love
But
that.
that's why I have these blank books. That even though I took the course, I filled them all in.
Oh, that's so
I
great.
can't find my old book,
That's
but
so great.
I
Yeah.
have it somewhere.
We look forward to it. We're gonna have a lot more going here. I saw someone comment here. I didn't bring it up, but someone wrote, "This guy doesn't know the difference between an atheist and an agnostic. But worse is that he's a dick about it." I mean, you're right about me being a dick. That's true. I do. Although,
Do you know the difference?
yeah,
between
that's
atheist
weird. I
and an
do know.
agnostic?
I don't know what he's
Did
talking
we? I
about.
don't remember mentioning being an agnostic.
I didn't. It must be from some other video that he's whining about or something because
Oh.
it has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But yeah, an atheist. I guess the technical difference is that an atheist says an atheist does not believe that God exists, and an agnostic is someone who doesn't know if God exists. But which I argue that everyone is an agnostic. Because no one knows. See, people say they know. People say they know. But if you're real, like, do you know? And the answer is no, you don't. I know a lot of people say it, but so it's answering two different questions. Atheism is asking what you believe, and agnosticism is asking what you know. And my problem with the term agnostic is that it's used to say that someone's in like this middle ground where I'm 50% believe in God and 50% don't. I'm not sure, but I'm open to the idea, or not open is the wrong word because you're open to it, but I think there's a chance that I have a hunch that that God is real. I was like, no, that's not what it means. That's what people use it, but I don't get wrapped up around it because Christians. I don't know if you ever had this happen to you. I've had this happen many times where someone will say, "So you say you're an atheist, right?" I was like, "Yeah," and it's like, do you know there's no God? Like, do you have evidence? I was like, no, I mean, of course not. Like, God could be real, and I just don't know. Like, aha. Well, that means you're an agnostic. I'm like, whatever word you want to use, man. Okay, if it makes you feel better that I'm not an atheist, fine. But that's not the definition of the word for as far as I know.
I'm sure you've heard before of like the two different categories of atheism: Gnostic atheism and agnostic atheism. Which to me is like, okay, guys, like it's being so fucking pedantic. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so like I'm an agnostic atheist, I guess, if you want to be like whatever about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe God exists, but like I don't know
Yeah.
for sure. Whereas like a Gnostic atheist, which I've never met,
which
one,
don't
it's
exist.
like,
No one could. That's what
I
bothers.
know God is not
That's
real.
what bothers. Yeah, is that they say Gnostic atheists as if one could possibly exist. Because even Richard Dawkins, I think it's called the Kinsey scales for sexuality, I think 1 through 7.
Yeah.
He has his own scale for atheism. Like a 1 is that you're a Gnostic theist. God is real, and you know God is real. Which there are plenty of those people who would say that.
Yeah.
But he's like, at number 7 is a Gnostic atheist. Is like, I don't believe in God. I know He doesn't exist. He goes, I'm a number 6. Like, that's as high as you can go. That is there. You might as well not have the 7. But yeah, I don't know. People, it's a trick of language because the word atheist exists. It's a rare word. I can't think of another one where you have a word for not believing in something. It's hard to, I can't think of another word other than atheist. Like if you don't believe in Dracula, there's no word for that. If you don't believe it, yeah, it's like, it's a weird thing. So when you say you're an atheist, people automatically assume it's the furthest down the spectrum that you can get. It said God isn't real, and I know He ain't real. Like, okay, that's kind of dumb. So people, and the word atheist scares people. Like that makes them feel uncomfortable. So yeah, you gotta say, well, are you open to it? Aha, you're not an atheist. Fine, whatever. Like the language doesn't mean all that much to me. But all right, any lessons on the Charm School book, Heather, before we close things out here?
I'm excited to read the next chapter.
As am I.
Yeah, and I hope we can find some more information about the author.
Yes.
And if she is connected to IBLP in some way, because I feel like she was, but we have no proof.
Shockingly small info about her for a book like this,
Yeah,
and
for
like
how many books she
yeah,
wrote,
very
she wrote
odd.
so
Yeah,
many.
couldn't find much on her at all. And but all right, folks, thank you for joining Heather, me, and Wolfie, and we will catch you next time. We have on this. Good stuff. I thought